Welcome back to my channel. I'm James. Today I'm excited to be reviewing and deep diving into Walt Disney's classic animated film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This is the brand new 4K restoration that's just coming out here on 4K Ultra HD in just a few days. Now, by the time this video comes out, it should be right around the release date, but I've been working very hard to get this done as soon as possible for all of you. And in today's video, I did my exclusive 4K versus the previous Blu Ray release image comparisons, where I pull all of the native data off of the 4K disc and off of the Blu Ray disc and compare them side by side up above. I do all of my testing data and give you my review score at the end and wrap it up to let you know the sum up total quality of this set and if this is one you should buy and add to your collection or if it's one you should skip altogether. When you get done watching this video, if you decide you're gonna buy Snow White on 4K Ultra HD, I've put that direct sale link from Amazon in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section right below this video. I've done all of that work for all of you and those links down there never cost you a penny extra and it's on sale for the same price as everywhere. But those links down there do help to support the creation of these videos that you watch just a tiny bit. So make sure if you're gonna buy or add Snow White to your collection to always use those links I post in the comment section right below. Now to start off with here, I'm gonna show you the previous Blu-ray release transfer of Snow White. Now the previous Blu-ray release did have a slightly softer image, the film grain was not as heavily present in it, and it did have a slight yellowish tint to all of kind of the colors and the saturation throughout the entire runtime. Now the yellowish tint wasn't horrible, but you can definitely notice it, and it was one of those things that just from the way that they did that transfer and that release, it just could have used a brand new restoration. Well, I'm happy to say Disney did that brand new restoration in this brand new 4K Ultra HD release. And I can tell you as you're noticing those native images up above, there is quite a bit of a noticeable difference. Gone is that previous yellowish slight tint over the entire overlay of the film. It does have a much more natural and pleasing image without some of the fade and the tint, the yellow tint that faded over time, since Disney released this back in 1937. Now for this new 4K restoration, they did do a brand new 4K scan and the restoration from the existing and remaining original film elements. And I can tell you that's where this definitely has the biggest improvements because this does have the natural film grain present throughout the entire runtime. There was no instances of DNR whatsoever or the program Neat used to try to eliminate or control or get rid of the film grain. It is nicely filmic and present from beginning all the way through the end on this, whereas the previous Blu-ray transfer, as I said, had a softer appearance and image with that film grain being very, very light, where they used some of those programs like the program Neat to eliminate or kind of control it and tone it down. This has the natural film grain, though I will say it's very stable and there's no fluctuations that I encountered throughout the entire runtime from beginning to end. If you enjoy movies and TV series, this channel is the place for you. Make sure to go down there, give this video a like and a thumbs up for me, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. That way you never miss out on any of these exclusive videos. Now for this Snow White 4K release, with that restoration, this is a native 4K 2160p, and it does have HDR10 on it. And I can tell you for that HDR10, they did a brand new color grading and master, which is what I said lends so much to why this is a noticeable difference from the previous Blu-ray transfers. The colors in this have much more, and I hate to use the word pop because I think it's overused, but it does have much more zing and pop and more vibrancy to it without going into the area of being oversaturated. Nowhere throughout this entire film is it ever oversaturated. There's no color bleed, none of that existed in the previous Blu-ray where I said it had a softer image where sometimes like the yellow of Snow White's dress would kind of bleed out beyond the animation quite a bit sometimes with the coloring on the previous transfer. That's gone on this. It actually is a very nicely stable image and the colors do look very nice from beginning to end without any of those fluctuations in the colors either. They did a really nice job with the restoration on this color-wise. Now, if you want to know about Disney's previous 4K restoration that they did, I did an exclusive image comparison review of Cinderella on 4K. You want to check out this review after you get done watching this video as well, because this is another one of those that is a very surprising 4K restoration that Disney did. And you can check out that video right now here on this channel after you get done watching this video. Now, talking about the audio on this does get an English DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 and 2.0 mix. Now I can tell you for the audio wise, compared to the previous transfers and Blu-ray releases, on the previous Blu-rays they did have some slight clicks and crackles and some slight audio distortions on that previous Blu-ray release's audio mixes. Well, I can tell you on this one, the nice thing is they did go back and fix those clicks and crackles that existed on that previous audio mix. They're gone on this. So they did fix those, and this is a very nice, clean, and clear presentation. The only thing I will point out, which is something that due to the age of this film is important to understand. As I referenced at the beginning of this came out in 1937 by Walt Disney. That time period when it was filmed and how they completed this film, there is some slight audio distortions, most noticeably when they're singing. So whenever the musical numbers come on, like when Snow White's singing at the beginning next to the well, and some of the songs later on with the Seven Dwarfs, you will notice some very slight and very brief audio distortions when they get to a very high peak in their sounds. That due to how it was finished and the time period and the age of the film, it does have just slight audio distortions right when they get to the peak of that sound when they are singing, when it gets very, very high pitched. That is something that has always been present on every release of Snow White since its iteration. It doesn't matter if you go all the way back to VHS, it's always been that way. I will say this handles it the best I've ever heard it. Now, again, this has gotten rid of all the clicks and the crackles that were on the previous Blu-ray release's audio mix. So that was a nice thing that they cleaned those up. And they did work with those slight peaks where it does get to the high peaks of that audio. It does sound the best I've ever heard it, but there is still very, very slight that if you are knowing what you're listening for and paying super close attention, you can pick up on them. But it doesn't ruin the experience in any shape or form, and I'm understanding based on when this came out, again, 1937, that is just the limitations for the time. They have done the most work I've heard them ever do on the audio mix on this 4K release, and this is the best I have ever heard Snow White sound on any home video release that's ever been available. Now, touching on the 4K image, one more thing I want to talk about. Because we're talking about the age of this film in 1937, this is represented in the original way it's intended to look, which means this is the original way it was animated by Walt Disney and those that worked on it, the animators, and it is presented that way in this. So what that means is it's not a revisionist vision of this film. What that means is they didn't go in and redraw the whole film. It is the original animation. What that means is you will still notice some areas of the film when it's transitioning between like movement and things like that, based off of how the animators actually animated it. It's not going to be as amazing looking as a more modern, even like Cinderella, which came out about 14 years after Snow White. Cinderella, they had major advancements in how they actually did the animation for their animated films. So understand that this presentation is presenting it in the truest form without them tinkering with and going back and reanimating it. So some of those limitations in the animation, the movement of some of the characters you'll notice is just, it's older. It's just slightly older due to the time period of the film. That does not mean it is something wrong that Disney did in any shape or form with this restoration. And I appreciate that Disney did not go and say, hey, we're going to reanimate this and we're going to try to redo all the animation. This is presented with those slight ways that they animated it, where you will notice sometimes the character moves across the screen just in slightly different forms than they did in later Walt Disney animated films. And I am perfectly okay with that and thankful that Disney left that the way it was intended, so that way we get to experience this in the true and original animated format that Walt Disney wanted all of us to experience this. Now, showing what you get in this, you get this really nice slipcover, and it's really hard to show this in this video, but it has sparkles on it, just like what the Cinderella one did, but a little bit different. It's matte with shiny different like words for Snow White, and the sparkles are all shiny, and then the gold down here for Ultimate Collector's Edition, that's shiny as well. Then when you get on the side here, it does say Snow White with a picture of Snow White on it. Talks about the film back here. Now, you do get all the previous Blu-ray special features that were included in the previous Blu-ray release. They're all included in this, and I will tell you on the Blu-ray disc in here, from what I can tell, it is the new Blu-ray transfer on the Blu-ray disc inside this set as well. So thankfully, Disney did a very nice job with putting the new 4K restoration onto the included Blu-ray disc in here, not just throwing in the old Blu-ray disc. They did give us the new transfer on this Blu-ray disc as well. Now, when you get inside here, this is your Snow White Blu-ray disc. This does have the new transfer on it, and this is your new 4K Ultra HD disc. I love the new cover artwork on this, how they did this with obviously the witch or the hag, whatever you want to call her. Obviously with the apple that she's giving to Snow White. I really like the look of that. And they even in the eyes, had the eyes like have like that strain on them where they have like veins in the eyes, which I thought was kind of a cool touch, but just a little thing I noticed. Now getting to the rough average bitrate. I dived into this and did all my exclusive testing on that to test out what the rough average bitrate on this is, and I can tell you it has a shockingly high and extremely strong and healthy 97 megabits per second. Wow, jaw dropper there. I was shocked at how amazing of a job they did with the transfer on this 4K release. That native 4K shines through brilliantly on this, and it is a very beautiful animated film that I love the animation style of these original Walt Disney animated films. Now I can tell you, this is one of those that the bitrate really did surprise me. If you want to check out another one that really did, both Prey and Loki, which are Disney releases on 4K, you'll want to check out my exclusive 4K versus digital streaming image comparison review video. I dived into that and showed the differences between digital streaming versions of those and what Disney released on 4K Ultra HD. That's an exclusive video you're going to want to check out here on this channel as well, because those are some very interesting Disney releases. Now, I can tell you that as far as this one goes, Disney did pull out the stops for this to make sure that they did a very nice restoration, just like they did with Cinderella. And I can't be more pleased with how this turned out. Now, getting to my review score, for Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs on 4K Ultra HD, this gets a beautiful 9.5. This is a must buy. You need to buy, add to your collection. Show Disney, again, I am shocked at the quality we are getting with Disney's resurgence here, as I've mentioned a lot recently. Like I talked about with that Loki video, that Prey video, Nightmare Before Christmas, and Cinderella. It is amazing the work that Disney is doing, and we need to be supporting these. They are providing these amazing looking restorations. And a lot of the times I'm blown away with the quality that they're providing on these. The high bit rates, the stable film grain, the fact that they're not doing what some studios have done that I've talked about a lot earlier this year, where they use DNR, the program neat. Disney's providing these in the truest forms they can to be the ultimate collector's editions, as they actually say on here, of these films. And for once, I truly believe Disney has provided us the ultimate collector's edition, as it says on the bottom of this case, unlike what they used to release many years ago. When I reviewed a lot of those Disney releases before, they didn't have great audio mixes. A lot of them they didn't look absolutely stunning or amazing. They were okay, but they weren't really a stunning restoration and a really stunning release. Now Disney is actually doing the work correctly to provide these in the original way they are intended to look. And if you've noticed in those native images above, it is a beautiful 4K transfer. And one of those that I highly recommend buying and adding to your collection. Don't miss out on this. Buy this release. Show Disney we are supporting these, because Disney is finally giving them to us. You know, I'll share something that's kind of disappointing, but every time I've done one of these Disney reviews of these new restorations they've done, whether it's Nightmare Before Christmas, Cinderella, Loki, Prey, doesn't matter. Any of those that are amazing releases, I always get these comments or messages from people saying, well, I'm going to still pirate them, or I'm going to get them illegally because I won't support Disney because, man, I can get them for free. You know what's sad about that is Disney's actually doing the work right now. They're providing us these restorations in the way that we always wanted them. For years, people complained saying, Disney's not doing restorations. Disney's not releasing catalog releases. Disney's not doing the work. Now they are. These need to be supported. Show Disney that now that they're doing them, we will buy these, we will support these, and we will add these to your collection. Otherwise, there will be no excuse when a few years from now, Disney says, hey, they didn't make enough money on these. We did the work for them. We did what they asked. We provided all the original films, the live action films, the TV series on Disney Plus, and people didn't support them. So then they're going to stop. We don't want that, because they're actually releasing some of the highest quality 4K restorations I have seen in a long time. These must be bought and supported because they are that amazing restorations. We won't need them to do this restoration again because this is absolutely beautiful. Wonderful job, Disney. I will tell you, I was not a fan of Disney for many years because I thought they had done a lot of things wrong for many years. And I'll be honest with you, the fact that they're releasing all of the original films and their Disney Plus content and doing them in amazing 4K releases, I've gotten very excited with what Disney is doing, because these are things that I love to watch, my kids love to watch, and I love to own. The fact that they're actually doing them the correct way with a proper 4K restoration and a proper 4K release, still shocked at the amazingly high rough average bit rates they're releasing them on. Still shocks me at that alone, because they're blowing away a lot of other studios right now with these 4K releases. Amazing job. Let me know in the comment section below how excited you are for this 4K release. Now that you've seen my exclusive image comparisons above and heard my review score, if you're gonna buy this and add this to your collection, use that direct Amazon sale link I posted right down below in the comment section right below. Those links down there are very important. Just like with this release, I spend all my time doing this exclusive comparison review for you. It takes a lot of time and money for the software and all of the time I put into creating these videos. So if you watch this content and enjoy it, make sure to join my Collectors VIP Club. Costs you less than a couple of bucks every month, but drastically makes a difference in the support and creation of every one of these videos. Also, make sure if you're gonna buy this, use those direct links I posted down below. Make sure to start that conversation down below and let me know how excited you are with this Disney resurgence. I'm glad it's actually a good resurgence, not they're releasing crappy transfers and crappy releases. Otherwise, let me tell you, I'd be tearing them apart for those crappy releases, because I cannot stand when companies do cash grabs of cheap and crappy releases and don't do good restorations. As most of you know that have followed me here on my channel, when a company does a crappy release or crappy restoration, I let you know about it, and I let you know I'm very upset and disappointed with it. In this case, Disney has done another amazing job, and I am looking forward to the next 4K restorations. As I talked about in my exclusive announcement video, if you haven't checked out that video yet, I announced a bunch of the next restorations that Disney is already working on. There's a few others I've heard about that I'll be talking about in a future video here that they've shared that they are also working on. So we have got a bunch more coming up, and they're all being worked on by the same restoration group. And let me tell you, I am excited because they have shown they know what they're doing and they are doing an amazing job. Let me know your excitement down below. As always, I truly hope all of you have a blessed day. I've always got something new, early, exclusive, and exciting coming out very soon.